Welcome to Sales 101. Today we'll be reviewing our basic sales techniques, starting with our 5 steps to a sale. Now, go ahead and pull out your welcome package. You should be able to download this from our website. Five steps to a sale. The building blocks of selling. Number 1, intro. Number 2, short story. Number 3, display. And number 4 is your close. Anyone who's on the phones, who's doing B2B, door-to-door, whatever it is that we're doing, we're using these 4 steps. Plus number 5, rehash. Double your cash. Ask for more business. This usually happens after we close the business, after we get that client signed up and that contract is sent out. Everyone, though, like I said, is using these first 4. If you look at our scripts are basically written in that format: intro, short story, display, and a close. Intro, there's two intros to every call. The first one is our gatekeeper. This is the person who answers the phone. This is the person at the front desk. This is the person who basically is in charge of getting you off that call. Now, the second one is our decision maker. This is the guy who's in charge. This is who you want to pitch. This is who we want to get in contact with. Our goal is to hopefully contact 20 to 30 decision makers on a daily basis. It's a decision maker's numbers game, not a gatekeeper numbers game. You don't want to pitch the gatekeeper. And that's actually my first rule. Do not pitch the gatekeeper. Make a friend, that's about it. Okay? Now, our short story, it's who you are, why you're calling, what you're doing. Tell them, talk to them. You have a pitch, the pitch tells you exactly what to say. Stick to it. When you're first starting off, stick to it, please. It'll help you out a lot. Your display, explain the offer, explain the value. Make it impressive, make it personal. Okay, give it to them. And number 4 is closing the sale. Be assumptive, direct, close the deal. You only get what you ask for, so ask for the sale. Number 5 is the rehash. Double your cash. This happens usually when we close the deal. We ask for more business. Bob, do you happen to know anyone that might be interested in? And you ask for it. 5 steps to a sale. Very important, basic building blocks of sales. That concludes the 5 steps to a sale. Welcome to Sales 101 Training and Techniques. This is part number 2 of our training. We're going to go over the 3 key ingredients. Please go ahead and once again pull out your welcome package. You can download that off of our website. 3 key ingredients to success. Very, very important in our industry. Starting with number 1, smile. Number 2, enthusiasm. And number 3, level eye contact, or if you're on the phone, we call it mirroring the client. Smile. This is very important. Everyone has received a call from that person that sounds like they're not too happy at their work. Don't be that person. Smile. It helps you out a lot on your call. If anything, it helps the client to actually get a smile as well. So please use it. Enthusiasm. Your enthusiasm sells. It sells the product. It sells yourself. If you add that with your smile, you have a great smile and some great enthusiasm, and you put some word fluctuation in there, and you make some stuff sound better than others, you're going to get a great response. Number 3, level eye contact. This is when we're B2B, in the field, in person. If you're knocking on those doors and you're walking into that business, and let's say for instance, there's a secretary sitting down, and if I walk in and if I hover over them, and if I'm all over them, they're not going to appreciate that. So usually as a salesperson, what I do is I ask, hey, do you mind if I grab a seat real quick? And I grab a seat and I get to their level. Why? Because it makes them feel comfortable. And of course, we want our clients to feel comfortable. If you're on the phone though, you can't, have level eye contact. We do what's called mirroring the client. Here's a great example. You call someone and they answer the phone like, hey, this is Bob, how can I help you? And you can tell Bob's in a hurry, right? If you answer the phone back and, hey Bob, how's it going? This is John giving you a call from eMerchants. Hope all is well with you. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. That person is in a whole other level and they're in a hurry and you're not going fast enough. Mirror the client. Now, same situation. You call someone and they answer the phone and, hey, how you doing? This is Bob. How can I help you? Hey Bob, how you doing? This is John giving you a call from eMerchants. Whoa, slow down, buddy, slow down. Everybody's gotten to slow down, buddy, right? Mirror the client. If they speak fast, talk faster. If they speak slow, speak slower. So the 3 key ingredients to success is basically your smile, your enthusiasm, and of course your approach with the client. Very important. If you add 3 key ingredients plus the 5 steps to a sale, it will help you become a more successful salesperson. That is the conclusion to part number 2 of our Sales 101 Techniques and Training. Welcome to Sales 101 Techniques and Training. Today we'll be doing part number 3 of our sales training. We'll be going over the laws of averages, a very important and crucial part of our technique as salespeople to build our pipeline, basically. There's something that the laws of averages tells us that's very important and a very positive thing for everyone that's trading today. Basically, it tells us that we get a certain percentage of what we go after, no matter what, even our experience, anything else. That percentage is 10%. This basically tells me that if I do something so many times that I'm going to get 10% of that back. I want to explain that to you guys today because I want to set your expectations today to know that you're going to have to make so much calls so you can get so many results. The great thing about it is that make those calls and you'll get the results. So 10%, we're going to go ahead and say, this is just an average telemarketer or someone visiting on the field, but let's go ahead and go with 100 calls or 100 visits, whatever the case might be door to door or it might be on the phone. Now, out of those 100 calls or visits, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm supposed to get 10% of that in total, which would be amazing if we could get that many in a day. What we could do though is teach you what happens with this 100. The first part is the listening stage. There's 2 stages to it. The second part are the people that do business with us. Now for the listening stage, of course, we really want the people to listen to us. It should be the decision makers, right? So we're going to hope that we get 10% of what is 100 people that we speak to, which is 10 decision makers when we're making our calls. Out of those 10%, we're going to get another 10% of them to do business with us out of these 10. So that means out of these 10 decision makers, one of them will do business with me that day. Now this is a given. This is anyone. This is you. You're starting off, or even if you're a seasoned person. If you're a seasoned person though, and you have experience as a sales rep, you might be at 20. You might be more, you might be at 30. But all of us start off at 10. So that's a given, and we will get that as long as we put the work in. So the great thing about the laws of averages, and a good thing for you to know, is that yes, you will get something for working, and you will get clients when you go after those calls. So if I make 100 calls, I should be getting one of those to do business with me, and 10 of those people should have listened to me and should have received some information, maybe an email, maybe something to progress on to a callback, which is usually what happens to these 10. Usually we're calling these 10 back the next day. Now, I'm going to show you how to take that 10 up to 20. And I'm going to show you how to grow your pipeline, which is on part number 4 of our training. But please keep in mind that this 10%, once again, like I said, is a given. This is for anyone and everyone. But if you use your 5 steps to a sale, the 3 key ingredients, and of course the closing pyramid, which we're about to teach you, you'll go to that 20%. And that's the conclusion to part number 3 of our training for the laws of averages. Welcome to part number 4 of our Sales 101 Techniques and Training. Today we'll be reviewing our sales pipeline. Our sales pipeline, which is one of the basic fundamentals of growing as a salesperson, is a very simple one. It's just like every other pipeline out there, just about. All of them have the same amount of levels to say, the stages. Ours has a total of 5. we're going to go ahead and the info goes on the very top. This is before it goes to the first stage, which is an actual close. And then number 4, or number 5 I should say, is our rehash, which is a total of info, first step, second step, third step, and fourth step, 5 total steps. So I'm going to give you an example of what happens if we're working a good 100 calls a day or a good B2B visits a day, so that you can see how you can succeed with us. So here's a great example for you. We already said, we talked about our laws of averages, and we already said that we're supposed to get back 10%. Okay? Now that 10% is a given to anyone who just picked up our script and maybe isn't using the smile, enthusiasm, hearing the client, maybe isn't really using word fluctuation, or maybe isn't really calling a lot, but at least they're doing their job. So even at that point, 10% is a given. So if we make 100 calls, like I was telling you earlier, and I want to point out to you how it works, but if we make 100 calls and we're supposed to get 10% of them to listen to us, right? Once again, that's what, 10? And then out of those 10% that listen to us, one of them does business with us? So here's a great example for you. First day, I'm going to erase this top part here so we can fill it in with our leads, all our great leads, and make us money. So now we have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now it's 9 because out of those 10, one does business with us. So that one's right there. Okay? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have a total of 10 leads that we got on our first day of doing work, any work or making calls, and that's 100 of them in total. So that first day you already have 1 closed, 9 potential callbacks. These will receive an email. More than likely you'll go into our database in our system. You'll have an email sent out to your client, and then at that point you'll call to verify they received the email, and you'll pitch them again. You'll try to close them again. So on your first day you already got 1. Day number 2, okay? You come back, you should be calling these back right away to make sure that they got their emails and verify that they got them. Now what happens is that this 10% starts working also the next day on your callbacks. So more than likely out of these 9, you're going to drop one of those as well. Okay? Now you should have had another 100 calls. That means you had another round of leads, right? So that means I should have another total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it should be 10, but remember, we're going to close 1 that day. No, actually this one's going to be right here. It's going to be from here, and then this one should be going to the next stage. So on my second day, I should already have 3 closed deals. Now, you can have 2 more every day after that. If you're consecutive, if you have good work ethic, you're using your 5 steps to a close, your 3 key ingredients to success, and of course, very importantly, the closing period. If you use all those steps, you'll take that 10% up. I promise you. You'll be at your 20%, 30%, okay? Now, this right here will help you grow as a salesperson, and for everyone, it takes a different amount of time to build this. People go at different paces, but please feel free to grow yours as fast as you want. You don't have to make 100 calls. You can make 200 calls. You can make 300 calls. Everyone has a different amount of what they can do, okay? The beautiful thing about it is that we control what we want to make off of our efforts. And off of this, you can definitely make a lot. So definitely, this is our part number 4 of our sales training, and a very important part of teaching you what you need to do to build yourself as a salesperson. Please keep in mind, this is just the beginning. So that does conclude our part number 4 of our sales training for our Sales 101 techniques and training. Welcome to Sales 101 Techniques and Training. Today we'll be reviewing part number 5 of our training, which is closing pyramids, a very essential and important part of becoming a salesperson. So today I'm going to teach you guys how to turn no's into yeses. It's going to be pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and start with breaking down what happens here in our pyramid, okay? Every client, and this is of course the decision maker, remember rule number 1, only pitch the decision maker. Every client is going to give you a question or an objection. A question is a great thing. A question is a buying sign. That shows interest. Answer it and then close it. An objection, though, requires a little bit of work, and that needs to be turned into a positive and hopefully back into a yes, okay? So I'm going to teach you how to do that today. Once again, remember the client is the one that gives you the question of objection, which should be the decision maker. So here's the steps. Step number 1 is positive. Step number 2 is answer. Step number 3 is close. And step number 4 is being quiet. Now, if you remember our last training where we were talking about our laws of averages, we're supposed to get 10% of what we go after. Okay? Now, that's a given once again. So is this. 90% of them will say no. I learned this a while back. It took me a few years to learn this, but at the end of the day, once I learned that 90% of them do say no, and once I learned how to rebuttal them, I was able to turn these no's, objections basically, into a yes. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So here's the steps basically. We have a question or objection that comes from the client. First step is our positive. Okay? Glad you asked. Or that's a great question. They always like that one. Makes them feel good about themselves. Number 2, I have to answer the objection or the question. Okay? Answer that. Number 3, I have to close the answer that I just gave. Okay? Number 4, I have to be quiet after I close that. Now here's a rule. Rule number 2. Never walk away with a no, first of all. Never walk away with a no. That's rule number 2 by itself, actually. If someone just says no by itself, and that's all they said, don't just say, okay, thank you, have a nice day, and hang up. Or if you're at their business, don't just say thank you, have a great day, and walk out. Ask them why. Turn it into an objection, because a no, a flat out no, is not a real no. That's just, they're just trying to get rid of you. Turn it into an objection. Find out what their problem is. Find out what their objection or their question might be. And then you can start working on this machine here. Okay, because this does work with everyone. You got to remember, every rebuttal, everything out there has an answer. And you just have to learn the answer and use this machine here to turn it from a no to a yes. So now, if 90% of them are no's, I think I should get good at answering them, right? I should probably get really good at them. Because that means 10% of them are yeses. Those are easy. Those are the given ones. I should be able to take an order. This is going to be the challenge. This is, if I get better at this, then this gets better. And so does my paycheck. And at the end of the day, that's what we're all here for. So a real salesperson will use this machine here, which is the closing pyramid, 3 to 5 times. That's on the phone, 3 to 5 times. On the field, 3 to 5 times. If you feel bad about going around this 3 to 5 times, that's not too good. Okay, don't worry about your client. Don't worry about being disrespectful. You know, oh man, I'm asking for the close too many times. Every time this guy asks me a question, I'm answering the question and then I'm closing them again. Don't worry about that. That's okay. That's not a problem. That's a great thing. You got to remember, some of us don't listen. We don't hear it. You probably told us the same thing 3 times, but we didn't hear it until there was an interest. Keep that in mind. And then, of course, number 4 is a close. Out of these 4, positive, answer, close, quiet, out of these 4, being quiet is the most important. Why? Because sometimes we'll talk ourselves out of a close. Even on your worst close, even when you're like, wow, I know I could have done such a better close, doesn't matter. Just stop. Don't say anything else. KISS. Keep it short and simple. Don't talk yourself out of a close. Okay? Now, the closing pyramid is a very important part of becoming a very good salesperson. Here in this company or anywhere else. The quicker you learn this, the quicker you accept it, and you start using it on every pitch, you start calling with enthusiasm, a smile, voice fluctuation, use your hands, know your rebuttals, and learn how to close the deals and turn them from no's into yeses. The quicker you learn everything and how to do it, the quicker you can start making money. Now, that's on you though. How long does it take for you to accept this and go with it? Personally, I know it took me a few years to accept it. It took me probably almost 2 to 4 years to finally say, I'm going to use this every time. And it actually happened when I was on the phone one day. And it felt really good, I'll tell you that much. I felt powerful at it. I felt like, please come tell me no. And I realized something important. I can take this anytime. I was always looking for this. I was always, 10%, 10%, 10%. But I forgot about these 90. And that's not being successful, because this is tiring right here. It's tiring to run after that 10%. It's not too tiring to get that 90% and turn them around from no's into yeses. Now I'm going to give you an example, a great example, one that every industry has. You have your question, your objection from a client. A client wants to say, well, you know what, let's say I close my client, hey Bob, to go and get you started today, all I need you to do is send in your most recent statement, and we'll go ahead and get you going today. Okay? Now, you know what, I have a contract. Industry standard, right? Well, hey, I'm glad you brought that up, Bob. It's a good question right there. You know what, our company actually does cover part of your contract fees. Upon qualification, we can probably take care of the majority of it. All I need you to do is send in your most recent statement, and we're going to get you going today. Okay? See what happens. You never know. You might have just turned that no into a yes. This can happen as many times as it needs to. Like I said, 3 to 5 times is the industry standard. I challenge you to do it a minimum of twice. Myself personally, I know I push for 3 to 5. I want that to happen at all times. So just keep in mind that your positive, answer, close, quiet is the system. Positive, answer, close, quiet. Positive, answer, close, quiet. Now here's another rule for you guys. Rule number 3. Never give away an answer without closing the deal. Okay, because if you're giving away an answer without closing it, you're wasting your time. If anything, nobody here wants to waste your time, and I'm sure of that. So now, that does conclude our training for Sales 101 techniques and training. We appreciate you guys being a part of our team. We look forward to your success. And other than that, good luck.